Lawyers used to be the most despised profession. However, in the past few years, politicians have taken over the top spot. But the IRS is moving up fast. Perhaps in a year or two, they might even be number one. So this is my IRS story. The IRS is quite a mess, as politicians know, but fixing it might hurt their take, and that's a lot of dough. Chances are slim they'll rein them in, 'cause it might hurt their stake. They don't care about you or me, as long as they get their take. I wrote the following poem when the Wiener was hanging out on the internet. It's called The Wiener. Anthony Wiener showed his stuff, but he couldn't compete. He didn't have enough. The next one is called The Wiener Tweets. I've never seen the Wiener tweets. I was told that they are real. Take my advice. Don't waste your time. I hear it's no big deal. The 15th of April is National Tax Day. What you worked so hard for, they taketh away. They're not even hungry, yet they spend it on pork. Give it to people who hate us and those who won't work. The politicians are busy. They seldom rest. They're working their tails off, feathering their nest. The taxes they collected, the influence they hold, is quickly turned into silver and gold. And if they're still living, when out they must bow, they'll retire in style, and now you know how. The Halfwits. Where have all the Halfwits gone? Let me tell you where. They've all gone to Washington, and they are still out there. They spend our money liberally. It's time for them to go. Harry, Nancy, and the rest of the bums. Let's give them the old heave-ho. Our country is on the edge of ruin. We owe more than we can pay. One day, the Chinese will own us all, if the Halfwits get their way. Would you give your money away if you couldn't pay your bills? Then you're smarter than the Halfwits that live on Capitol Hill. My roses are wilting. My violets are dead. My billfold is as empty as a politician's head. Washington slept in many places. Old-time innkeepers claim, and he became our country's father. That's how he got that name. When Joe Biden makes a comment, he always tries to please, but he trips over his gall-darn tongue because he's got foot and mouth disease. Abraham Lincoln is my favorite president, and I wrote this poem about his hat. Abraham Lincoln is 6'4". Folks thought he was taller than that, but it was just an optical illusion caused by that stovepipe hat. Now, we've all seen pictures of Lincoln wearing his stovepipe hat, and I always wondered how tall that hat was. So I checked it out, and it was 7 inches tall. Now, when he wore that hat, he must have looked 7 feet tall. He must have looked like a giant. because the average guy in the 1860s was only 5'6". And we also know that Lincoln wore a beard. You know, when I was 32 years old, I started to grow a beard. And I kept it well trimmed, and I thought, I look pretty darn good in it. So one day we were at Tony's Tap, a restaurant in Decatur, and my wife and I was getting ready to have dinner, and our friends walked in. Tom and Peg Sefton walked in, and we had, come on, sit with us. So they sat down, and I noticed Peg was looking at me. And I wondered, what's going on? And finally she says, oh, I sure like your beard. And I started to puff up like a horny toad. And I says, you do? And she said, yes, it hides so much of your face.